Good evening, and welcome to the January 8th, 2014 Board of Education meeting. We had been in an executive session discussing contractual matter from 6 o'clock till 7. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, do we have any PIG students here, participation in government students? Okay, a couple of you. If we go to 9 o'clock, we'll take a break at 9, and you can come up and sign out, and if you have any papers that we need to sign, we'll sign that. If we get done before 9, you'll be lucky. So, we'll start with introductions.
Lynn Lenhart.
Joanne Cunningham.
Kate Navarro. Jody Monroe.
Tom Douglas.
Matt Downey.
Michael Cooper.
Diane Stever.
Charmaine Widgesinger.
And Judy Stevo.
Okay. Next, item number 2, approval of minutes. The minutes of the December 18th, 2013 regular board meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
That's a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That carries. Student Senate. Great. How you doing tonight? Good.
So what we've been working on with the Senate has been mostly focusing on getting a lot of people to attend the Bethlehem Hockey Night, January 31st. It's a Friday. It's an Albany Devils game. Devils now. It's an Albany Devils game. It's really exciting. So we are working on getting a table to sell the pre-sale tickets probably 2 weeks before the event and get that out there. It's going to be a K through 12 event, so we just want to get as many Bethlehem people there as possible. If you just Google the Bethlehem Albany Devils Night, it'll pop right up, and you can order tickets. They're half off, and the proceeds from the usual Chuck-a-Puck game goes to Student Senate. So it's a great fundraiser. It's a great opportunity that the Albany Devils afforded us. It's an awesome thing. Next, we're working on a snowball that's coming up. We're deciding between making it a formal dance, which it has always been in the past, but since dance attendance numbers have been kind of low lately, we've been looking into doing an activities night, just other creative ideas we can get to boost attendance. Other than that, we've been working on the student lounge with Mr. Landry to see how we can jazz it up, and thinking about what the kids want for the lounge, and how we can increase people using the cafeteria and staying on campus instead of going off campus. That's what we've been focusing on.
Thanks.
a question.
Yep.
On the Devils game, I had overheard a conversation where I believe the hooligans are supposed to play the national anthem.
Yes.
I don't think they know that. I don't know. 'Cause my son's in the hooligans, and
Yeah.
I asked him, and I said,
I've talked to Mr. Friss.
Okay.
So I thought, that would get some
Okay.
stuff out there.
I know a bunch of them, and because I said something about a hockey game, they're like, we don't. And I'm not sure if they have the music for the national anthem and stuff, but they.
That's a thing too. Mr. Landry talked to someone else who was supposed to talk to them as well.
Okay.
There's a Facebook group.
Okay.
We'll end up working that, but yeah, they should know. But if they don't,
I'll let them know.
Mr. Norman's here. so-
Yeah, they'll be
Okay, yeah.
practicing.
Thanks.
You have a mission.
Thank you. I just
thank
wanted.
you, thank you.
Will there be bus available for students or
and
no?
also, actually, there's an Albany basketball game at home that day too. So we can't, officially take away from their attendance either. So it's a whole district-wide thing.
Okay. All right, great. And you said it's K through
K through
12 you're
12.
looking
Yeah.
for?
So
Good.
Mr. Landry's sending out information to principals.
Principals and the
elementary schools.
PTAs and stuff. Good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next, superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Downey. It's my pleasure to give Happy New Year's greetings to everyone here in attendance and to our community as well as to the board. And to keep my comments brief tonight, I just wanted to give the board a couple of wonderful pieces of information. I'd like to congratulate the Bethlehem Central History Bowl varsity team. In December, they won the New York City Regional History Bowl in Manhattan. The competition included a 12-team round-robin tournament, of which Bethlehem defeated North Babylon Team A with a score of 400 to 140. The BCH team has qualified for the History Bowl National Tournament, which will be held in the spring. They went to this last year, and we're hoping for even greater success as they come through. Also on the individual level for the History B competition, Tom Sheridan and Ben Weinstein qualified for nationals by virtue of their top 6 finish in the varsity History B competition. Eric Wolfsburg won the Junior Varsity History B in New York City tournament and also qualified for nationals. So Eric and Ben have been on a hot streak and will be going for the National U.S. Geography Challenge with the top 2 scores of the regional qualifying exam, and they've certainly represented us well, especially over the past 2 years, so congratulations. I'd also like to bring a little spotlight to the Spotlight article on our student help desk. It was wonderful to acknowledge the work of our students here at Bethlehem Central High School, as well as the work that they provide for the district's technology department. In addition, I know if Melanie Painter's not here, I know she's very proud of this, but our student art exhibit will be underway at Proctor's for I think the premiere of War Horse. And the Bethlehem Central School District was selected to be part of the student art exhibit, exploring the power of separation to bring us closer, based on War Horse, by Michael I cannot say this name, so Michael M. After much consideration, the jurors of the show selected 25 pieces of art to be displayed in the exhibits at Proctor at the Fenimore Gallery. The show will take place in from January 14th to the 19th, and during the Broadway run of War Horse at Proctor's, and it looks very interesting from the television promos. I'm pleased to inform you that 100% of the student artwork that was submitted by our art department was selected by the jurors, and that's a great accomplishment. So kudos to the entire program. There will be a show opening and viewing at Proctor's on Wednesday, January 15th, so we do not have our retreat that night if you're available. I'm planning on attending. It will be 5 to 8 p.m. All the artists will be welcome to attend and also see their artwork on display. In addition, last night we had a wonderful introductory session to the BC Lab School for their open house for the 8th graders. It's starting to get that point of the year where we're gearing up for next year, and obviously with the State of the State address today, getting ready for budget season and what may come when the budget is released by the governor in the coming weeks. Also, there will be high school concerts that pretty much take up all of our concert programs throughout the month of January, but I know the high school has their concert tomorrow night here, and also coming up, and I know this will be out to the board, is the BCMS musical, which will be Seussical, the musical junior, and that will be at the end of the month. So if you can respond after this week's update to Brittany and those that would like to attend the night and the showing, and we'll take care of everything from there. Those are just a few of the many things happening here at BC at the start of the new year, and I just want to commend all the work for everybody during the recent weather. It's never easy, but we do live in Northeast New York and the Northeast part of the states that I'm sure, as one of our fellow board members knows, now that plowing in the Northeast can become quite interesting at this time of the year. So we want to thank everybody and all their hard work across the county, the town, and the school district for making sure that we are always available and ready to be open. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Dr. Douglas? Next, Board of Education report. We'll look at you, Lynn. You always say, well, first I'd like to say congratulations to Lynn. She has assumed the presidency of NYSBA, the New York State School Board Association, for this year.
I assume for that reason I received an invitation to attend the State of the State message today by Governor Cuomo. Interesting experience. Long day. Speech wasn't that long, but it was a long day. With all the security that was down there, it really surprised me. But anyhow, it was a very positive message for all areas, whether it's the economy. Things are much better now than they had been, and looking forward, he reviewed the past and looking to the future. It took a long time before he got to education. Like I'm saying, he must want to say something about education. And he finally did and introduced some initiatives. He's proposing a $2 billion technology, well, he's calling it a smart school, but basically a technology bond issue that would have to be passed by the legislature and the voters in November. But it's to bring schools up to speed. He had pictures of schools in the 1950s and then one that, you know, from the present day, and said that everyone needs to move forward to there. So if it were to pass, I think it'd be helpful to a lot of schools in the state. He also said that universal pre-K really needs to be universal, and the opportunity should be offered to all schools to have the opportunity to have a preschool program, and also that it wouldn't be based on competitive grants, as a lot of things seem to nowadays. He didn't mention anything about the funding for it, and, you know, I always worry about those little details. You know, it's great to have these grandiose ideas, but the funding is probably even more important. And then he mentioned scholarships for students in New York State in the top 10% of their class that attended SUNY schools and studied math and science, and then would teach in, or not teach, but I mean, they could teach or they could just work in the STEM fields in New York State for a minimum of 5 years, and they would be fully paid, it would be full scholarship, which I thought was really a great idea, number one, to encourage people to go into math and science, like we're going to see tonight a little bit, but also to encourage students to stay in New York State after they graduate from college. I think that really was about it. I assume we'll hear a lot more when he actually delivers his budget message. He did say that the state had gone from this huge deficit now to a 2.5, I'm pretty sure that was the number used, $5 billion surplus. And so I hope in doing that, that he understands that it's time to get rid of the gap elimination adjustment, because if he's saying that and then we're still paying back to the state to keep them in the black, it seems a little unfair, just whether it's to us or to any other school district that's had that loss of state aid for that reason. So, but we'll see what happens when the budget comes out.
Yeah, I think one of his famous quotes that we will probably be sure to remind him is that education will see an increase in spending like never before, was his exact quote. So we're hoping that he holds true.
Well, hope so too. Anyhow.
Anyone else? No?
I've been going to a few of those different sporting events in the winter, and I think it's marvelous to see young people being active in the winter, and so appreciate the district's athletic department giving them the opportunity to participate when some of the outdoor activities are a bit more limited. It also gives the community an opportunity to participate and to view some things that our students are doing, our athletes are doing. And I just want to appreciate the O&M staff and the transportation staff who help the athletic department, the athletes, obviously, and the coaches who help mentor students to be good citizens and great athletes, so.
And one thing, I'm not sure if any of the other board members know, but Brad Campion, who was the student senate president and had presented many times to us, is at Southern New Hampshire, and his team won Division II soccer, the National NCAA Championship, and Brad was awarded the highest GPA award for all the teams that participated, so congratulations to Brad.
That's great.
Next, we have a presentation, the Middle School Technology Bridge Building Project Demonstration. Amy Ludick will be presenting with her students.
Thanks so much for taking the time to have my students come and present to you tonight. All the students who take Engineering Basics 2, that's what we now call our 8th grade technology course, they all make a bridge as part of the classwork, and they go through all the steps of the design process. That's the focus of our course. And all the students who are here tonight are really hardworking, ambitious students who not only built one bridge of their own, but they had some extra time because they're very dedicated kids, and they built a second bridge of one of, so the students worked in pairs to build a second bridge, and they decided on whose they would build. So we have first, we're going to hear from Lauren about specifications.
So step one of the design process is problem identification. And you figure out what the problem is and what the specs are. And then you ask questions to better understand the problem. Now, Maggie.
This project has many important specs to follow, such as the height of the bridge. At most, it can be 5 inches and at least 3 inches high. Each member at its max length can be 7 inches long. Also, the width in between the 2 trusses can be 3 inches, have to be 3 inches. I enjoyed bridge making, and the specs helped me through the process. Now over to Molly. The efficiency is the live load divided by the dead load. The live load is the trucks and cars on the bridge, and the dead load is the bridge itself. To have a good efficiency, your bridge should be light and hold a heavy weight.
And our step 2 of our design process was to research the problem we were trying to solve. And we looked at different truss examples of truss bridges. And we used West Point Bridge Design to learn about and experiment with truss designs before building a model of our own. And
Step number 3 of the design process was brainstorming alternative designs. We created 4 thumbnail sketches. Once we had 4 ideas of what we wanted our bridge to look like, we chose the model that best fit the specifications. Out of there.
Step 4 is to choose the best design and draw plans on CAD. The way we chose the best bridge design was by seeing which one best met the specifications. Now over to Christian.
Step 5 is when we went down to the shop, the first thing we did was learn shop safety. We took a test to make sure we followed all the rules. For example, we had to wear safety goggles while constructing our bridge. Now to Emma.
Even though that our project was a self-project, we still used teamwork to help each other put the bridges together and cut members. Now over to Christian.
We had to test our bridge to figure out the efficiency, and some of the bridges, when we tested them, smashed apart when we tested them. Now over to Catherine.
After we tested it, we would analyze the test results on Excel, where we would put in the bridge mass, how much it weighed, how much it held, and for extra information, how tall the superstructure and substructure was. So after, you could do a calculation that would show the efficiency, where you could sort it from the best efficiency to the lowest, and Alan had the highest efficiency.
Okay, thank you very much. Nice job. I'm really proud of this whole group. We are going to do a demonstration now. We'll test at least one bridge here. So Lauren, I think, and Claire are going to come up, and let's just pass out the safety glasses to the front row people. And maybe Mrs. Kehoe, maybe want to move back a little?
I'll step around so I see better.
$27. $50.
What are you doing, adding more weight to it?
Yeah, they're adding
Okay.
more.
just- okay.
They're
64.
64 pounds, so the loading machine pulls down on the bridge. There are pieces that connect the two trusses. When Lauren tested her first bridge like this, what did it hold, Lauren? Was it 217? And your efficiency was up close to 2,000, wasn't it? Yeah, okay.
$108.
108? Claire?
130.
This is just what it's like in class when we're testing the bridges. The students are very focused, and it's really quiet.
138.
What we usually do is we take a look to see where it failed. So this one, it's a little unexpected, right? We thought it would go a bit higher than that. So maybe, what do you think? Why did that one break right there? Looks like in a different spot, huh?
It broke like in the middle of like not where I cut it, so it was just like wood.
So maybe there was a crack in that piece of wood. So I'm not sure what you folks would like, if you would like us to test a couple more bridges, or if you would like to ask the students questions. You would like us first to keep going? So just break this down, all right? So, that's a nice pencil. Just right there in the bottom of it, so that we remember.
What was the efficiency on this one with the braking?
Right, it's not going to be quite as high, even though this was a little bit lighter than the first bridge that you built. It's not as high a load, so. You want to figure? Sure. It's going to be, what was it, 138 divided by, and that's the load in pounds. Of course, that's the mass in pounds, 0.108. Yes.
Where it breaks or whatever, what does that tell you? Or does that give you information?
Where it breaks, sometimes we can predict where they'll break. They frequently break where they're connected. This one broke unexpectedly. There maybe was a crack in the piece of wood. If you want to take a look at it. Not really sure why that broke in that spot. We were expecting this one to hold a higher load because a bridge of a very similar design went up over 200 pounds. There are a lot of variables with the project.
The efficiency is 1,278.
Awesome.
What was that again?
1,278.
So the efficiency is figured by the load that it held, 138 pounds, divided by the mass in pounds. So it had a mass of 49 grams, and we converted that to pounds. Who remembers how you convert from grams to pounds? What do you divide by?
454.
Okay, great. I knew you'd remember. So shall we do Emma's and Molly's? Yeah, great. So yours has a mass of 40 grams. I checked the mass of this one and wrote it down. It was exactly, so is that lighter or heavier than what you had? Do you remember? Was it exactly the same? Yes. Okay, I think we're ready to go.
33. 70.
101. 108.
108. And what did it hold the first time? Do you remember? 124? Okay. So,
Can Nick show us the slow motion replay of that?
Does the environment that it's in make a difference? Let's say if the classroom is warmer and it's cooler in here, or, you know, whether temperature or humidity?
you know, it could be that these have dried out because these were built back in November. So possibly the glue has dried out and is not holding them together quite as well. Ideally, it would be nice if students could build a second truss like this after we've gone through all the testing. Unfortunately, these students didn't have the benefit of seeing all the load tests before they built a second one. They did this while their fellow students were still completing the first truss, and we were down in, in the shop. So they didn't really do too much in the way of making changes or modifications, which is the next step. So did you figure your efficiency in this one? So it was 40 grams, right, divided by 454. And that's a number, that's about a tenth of a pound. So, yeah, it's really like a little bit less than a tenth. So your load was 108 divided by 0.088. So Christian and Kristen, should we do yours too? I wasn't sure how long you folks would think that we could, I didn't know how, if we would be able to do more than one. Okay, so that was, you want to tell them what your efficiency was?
Our efficiency was 1,227.
And that's because it was, even though it held a little bit less of a load, it was quite a bit lighter than the first one. Okay.
Always hear something cracking. I could hear
Yeah. You don't want to hear any of that going over one of our New Year's Day bridges.
I keep thinking Tappan
What did you guys like best about designing these bridges? What was exploding? Exploding.
The weight of this one, it was.
Do you think of it now when you cross a bridge in the car with your parents? About the pressure on there?
Yeah, are you hoping someone has tested them?
Oh, no, that's Molly's. Okay. Well, I think that we probably should.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. No, but
So the last part of the design process we learn about is sharing results so that other people can benefit from what you've learned. And are there any other questions that you might want to ask the students?
How many do you think you'll go on and take another engineering course in high school? Just one? Come on.
You think you might take an engineering class? You might take the Introduction to Engineering Design? Think so?
If you go on to study engineering in college, let me warn you, the one question you shouldn't ask, which happened to a friend of mine, he was in his first engineering class, and the teacher was talking about his grading policy, and the student raised his hand and said, "On the test, you give partial credit." And the teacher's response was, "You build a bridge, it falls down, no partial credit."
I just want to say one thing. I've been to Amy's class actually last year, I think, for my son's bridge building initiative. And what you didn't see today is it was very lively in the class, and the students would take bets on whose bridge could sustain certain load levels, and the thing that impressed me the most, in addition to the actual project that you were developing and testing, was the fact that everybody was having a really good time demonstrating what they had done, and it was really impressive that you're not just engaging them on something, a technical kind of project, you're making it really exciting and fun and dynamic. So I just want to acknowledge that. We didn't really get a taste of that today. You guys were very, I thought, poised and very sedate, but the classroom bridge testing was quite lively.
Anyone else have any questions for students?
Well, thank you again for letting us present. Really proud of all of you.
President has something for you, so. Then we're going to try to get another mug shot.
It was like,
Great time.
stuff. My brother was a physics teacher. He would have the kids design slowly because the band labs were there, which was nice. We didn't do that. They were so intricate to design.
Well, I think you and Matt should have lots of fun too. That would be
Success.
not enough to go
Yeah,
around.
credit. Well, this is high school. In fact, it probably was it was AP physics. In fact, it was a calculus strip of AP physics. We don't have a teacher. And here we you're talking about probably seniors.
Thank you again. It was a very nice presentation. It's good to see the students in action and see the results of their work. Thank you. Oh, yeah, they're free to leave, yep. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, at this time, the board would recognize any visitors who have something to say about an agenda item. Does anyone want to say anything about an agenda item? Okay, we can move on. Item number 8, Finance. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the following finance action items A through B.
So moved.
That's a first and a second. Any discussion?
Just again, of course, we can't thank Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous, but again, it's great. It was a great donation.
I will make sure that we still will get a personal thank you letter out to the individuals who made the donation. It's a very generous donation. I know Mr. Normus and his entire staff are very appreciative. Dave?
Yes. And what that is, just for anyone in the audience, there was a $13,000 donation anonymously given to the school district for musical instruments, so thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That carries. Item number 9, excuse me, professional personnel, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following instructional staff action items A through E.
So moved.
That's a first?
Second.
Second? Any discussion?
Just want to, mention our leader who's been here for 28 years and, certainly deserves recognition for his time and service to the district.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That carries. Item number 10, support personnel. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following support staff action items A through B.
So moved.
That's a first?
Second.
Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That carries. Item number 11, correspondence for action. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following correspondence action item A.
So
Committee on
moved.
Special Education.
So moved.
Second.
That's a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That carries. Item number 12, at this time, we would recognize any visitors who have something to say about a non-agenda item. This may be our quickest meeting. You PIG students may get out of here real soon. This is great. Being none? Future.
30-minute videos.
Okay. Future meeting, the board will be having a mid-year retreat next Thursday, January 16th. We will not be taking any action or any votes at that discussion. Then the regular board meeting, January 22nd, and then the first meeting of February, on February 5th. I do not believe we need to go back into exec session.
If I can just make one additional announcement about the Wednesday, January 22nd board meeting. As we mentioned back in, I believe it was late November, we have a request by the town to do some work at the Hammer-Grell in regards to a sewer project. We are going to be having a building-wide PTA meeting, I believe, on January 16th in regards to that proposed Town of Bethlehem sewer project for the community of Hammer-Grell schools, but also at the January 22nd Board of Education meeting, there will also be time for a public hearing section on that proposed project as well for the community. So just to get that announcement out there.
Okay, great. And as Tom said, the PTA, or the Hammer-Grell, will be having a meeting on that on the 16th. The board had already committed to their retreat, so there will not be any board members available for that meeting, but we will have a public hearing on the discussion on that January 22nd about that proposal.
Matt, normally do the board meetings say 6 o'clock? Normally? Do they always say 7? I thought we always
No.
had 6 because of executive session.
No, we always say 7.
On our
Technically, it should
minutes,
say six.
Yeah, I believe it always says 6.
No, it says 7.
we can correct that. We corrected it on the actual agenda.
Right.
We haven't corrected it
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
so we'll put 6 there from now on.
It is, yeah, our meetings are, public meeting starts at 6.
Yeah, but usually these will say 6.
No, does it? I don't recall that being, but we can change it if need be. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
That's a first and second, all in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. PIG students will have sign-out sheets for you.
They're right up here.